Hi, it's Amanda, and as you can see by the title of this video, I've decided to move to a bi-monthly update for my Pan That palette. So let's start off with Fun Sized, and I am using the Boots Easy on the Eye, the Big Smoke palette. The first shade is Twilight Blue, and here's the second change. I'm not counting the number of uses anymore, it was taking me far too long to do. Here's where we were at the end of July, and I have been using this shade a little bit, but it's not showing a lot of progress. The next one along is Cocoa Brown. This is what it looked like at the end of May. And at the end of July, I have got a new pan. One of the benefits of doing a bi-monthly update, of course, is you can see a little bit more progress, which is always fun. Moving on to Smoky Marble, this is what it looked like at the end of May. I've also been using this one, but there's not a great deal of progress to show. The next one along is Wild Khaki. This is what it looked like at the end of May. Quite a bit of use on this one. You can see some progress and a bit of a broad dip starting on this one. So hopefully it won't be too long before we hit pan on this. Then we've got Cool Aluminium. This is what it looked like before, and I did have pan on this one. I've continued to use this one quite a lot, and as you can see, that pan has got considerably bigger. Next one along is Illuminated Bronze. If you've been watching this series, you will know I really don't like this shade very much. I think I used it just once or maybe twice, but there's no real progress to show for it. And I'm not going to push myself to use a shade that I really don't like when I'm trying to use up as many of these as possible. On the bottom row we have got Onyx Black, and this is what it looked like at the end of May, and by the end of July we've got some expansion of that pan. I have continued to use this one fairly frequently. Next along we have Slate Grey. This is what it looked like at the end of May. And then by the end of July we've got our second new pan for this video, and this one is going quite easily and quickly. Then we've got Cloudy Lilac. This is what it looked like at the end of May. I've used it a little bit but not a great deal, and there's perhaps a tiny expansion of the pan but not a lot. Next along is Warm Ivory. You probably got a bit of a sneak preview there on the previous clip that the pan on this one has expanded quite a bit. It was quite a broad, deep dip, so that's not really surprising, and I continue to use this one almost every day. And then we've got Pink Flush. This is the one that I had the most use on, and I have continued to use this one. And this is what Pink Flush looked like at the end of July. I think this is the shade that I'm most likely to finish this year. So let's have a little look at the montage of all the progress so far on this palette since I brought it into this project. The second palette in my project this year is my Better Together palette, and for this I'm using Milani's Must Have Neutrals, and this is a palette that complements your main Pan That palette. And starting off with the shade called Base, this is what it looked like at the end of May. And this is what it looks like at the end of July. As you can see, this one has broken up quite a lot. But I have made some progress with it. Next we have contour, and this is what it looked like at the end of May, and it doesn't look much different at all by the end of July. I used it maybe once or twice. Then we're going to skip over lid because I didn't use that at all. But I did use crease. This is what it looked like at the end of May. I mainly use this one as an eyebrow shadow, and I have expanded that pan downwards a little bit. And again, you may have got a little bit of a sneak preview on this one. Next shade is called Specialty. This is what it looked like at the end of May. I had a decent dip going on this one. By the end of July, I've got another pan. I really like this shade. I had not used it much before, but it is going down quite quickly. And last of all, in this palette, we have got the black. It's called Liner. This is what it looked like in May. It's very pigmented, so you don't need a lot of this shadow. Here it's what it looked like at the end of July, and we got a little bit of progress, but nothing much. So here's the progress montage for this palette. Been putting it off, but I think I'm going to have to repress that first shade. It is breaking up so badly. And the last palette in this project is my Pan That palette from last year. I'm continuing to work on this to try and get it completely finished. The first shade that I've been working on is Love Letter, and I've been using this one fairly consistently throughout the year. Here's what it looked like at the end of May. And by the end of July, you can see that I've got quite a lot of progress, and I've cleared out over half of the bottom of this shade. So I'm going to continue working on this one, and I think there's a chance I'll get this one finished this year. I have also used a couple of other shades in this palette. The first one is Burnt Orange. This is what it looked like at the beginning of the year, and this is what it looks like now. You can see there's definitely a little bit more of the pan showing. And I've also been using Red Ochre in the last couple of months. This is what it looked like in the introduction. And this is what it looked like at the end of July. So we've got a little bit of progress going on there as well. Here are all the progress pictures for the whole of this palette since the beginning of this year. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it as I had hoped, but I'm going to try and at least finish Love Letter and make some decent progress on some of the rest of them. So as mentioned earlier, I'm going to try and repress the first shadow in the Milani palette. So if you want to see me trying to do that, I will have a bonus video of that coming up soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!